Hi everyone, I hope everyone's week of training went well. My week went amazing. It's probably one of the best weeks I've had in a while with it. Despite injuring my back last week on Saturday, I was back at it on Monday with no pain or anything really at all. I was a little bit tight, but everything went well with it. And you'll see later, or you'll see in this video at some point, how well it actually did go. So I started out my week with my first positive note of a personal best with push press, where I did 185 pounds for 2 reps. With that, my previous best was 175 for a rep, so doing that was quite good. I nearly had 3, but I was happy to hit a new 1 rep PR, and it just felt really good, so I tried to do multiple reps of that weight. So I started out with that push press PR. Anything shoulder wise that I can get stronger at, it's only going to help me in the bench as well as any Olympic lifting that I do. But then I moved on to the bench press later that week, where I did 295 pounds for 2 reps. That's my current lifetime best that I've ever done as far as weight goes. I did the first rep touch and go and the second rep pause with that, and they both moved well, especially considering the last time I did it was in the summer when I was cut down to 180. And it was an extreme grind. My butt probably came off, but this one, everything moved really well with that. And I'd done sets of 2 previous to that, where I think I did 280, 285, or 285, 290, and then 295 with that, which those were pretty much, I think like 290 for a double might have been a PR by itself, and then 295 was another one as well. But I'm a big fan of the small jumps with that, especially when I have no idea what level of strength I should be at with lifts like that, seeing how I'm actually progressing pretty well. I just don't know how quickly I am. So I had that PR as well, and then I moved on to another push press PR. So I was going to try to do more than 165 pounds with an overhead press, and I was able to do 165 again, but I wasn't able to do, I think it was like 170 that I tried, but I wasn't able to do more than that. So I decided just to do push presses from there. So I went to 170, and then I went up and up and up, and I kept going in like 5-pound increments, because I had no idea where my PR for push press is, because normally once your PRs are pretty stable, you pretty much know like I can get a little bit more, or I'm going to make an aggressive jump with that, but I really had no idea, because with shoulder stuff, I can go from like, oh, that felt really good, to I can't even get this more than half. Like, it's a complete grind, and even with push press, because you can grind it a little bit. But shoulder stuff is kind of weird like that, where it's hard to predict where I'm going to get stuck with that. So I went like 5-pound increments all the way up to 200 pounds, and I was able to get that with a grind. But and I tried 205, and I failed that. I think I was just burnt out at that point. But in the future, hopefully I'll be able to get that. I no timetable or anything for that kind of thing, but I was definitely happy to make progress as far as that goes. I would have liked to make some progress on my overhead press, but I'm fine with hitting my previous max with that. At least I'm not losing strength in that, and I'm gaining strength in other shoulder things, so that should naturally follow as well with that. And then on to Saturday, which is today that I'm recording this video. We had a squat party with various people at the gym, and you'll see in the background of the video maybe some of the people that were there and kind of clapping along or clapping for me as I was going. I would have recorded more, but I wanted to focus on my lifting in particular, and if I would have went around and recorded different things, it would have been a distraction to myself, and I wanted to really hit the weights that I was trying, so I was just focused on getting my stuff recorded, and just kind of hanging out in between sets and not worrying about having my camera on. I also forgot my microphone, which I didn't realize because I didn't even plan on recording, so I guess it kind of worked out in that regard. Anyway, but some of the notable lifts in the gym from the other guys that are with me. One guy did 535. Icy, I think is how you say his name. Very strong guy. He could have done more. A lot of these guys could have done more. They were just wanted to do a heavy single that day. Justin, that you see in several of my videos that helps me with the weightlifting stuff, he did 465 quite easily, annoyingly easily with that. And one guy, I don't think he tried 405 and failed. I think he PR'd with 395 with a high bar and beltless and all that fun shenanigans. Simon, I think is how you say his name. And Ben, I think also did 395 or 4. I think he failed 405 as well with that. I'm trying to think. And another guy did 600 for a pause double, which is crazy with that. But for me, I was trying to see how much I could high bar beltless with it, because everything was feeling fine with it. Still had the kind of the tight hip thing, but as I warmed up, it was fine with that. So I went 365. I went basically to double or triple, regular rep stuff to 365. I did a single 365, 385, 395, and then 405, which was a 10-pound PR, I guess, from the most I've ever high bar beltless before, since I think I did 390 for a triple. I think I did 395 for a single before. I'm not sure with that. I don't keep track of random PRs like that. But I wanted to do 405 because that's an arbitrary it's 4 plates, so it's an arbitrary number, but one I wanted to hit. So I hit that, and it went really well, and I was super hyped up for it. Which definitely helped me get that up a little bit easier with that. So I decided to try 415, and the same thing, I got super hyped up, and it was a bit more of a grind. Form broke down more, but I was still able to hit that. And then I was like, I've already tried these two. I'm gonna deload next week. I'm ready to just YOLO. So I went to 430, my lifetime max ever with low bar, with a belt, and all of that fun stuff. And I failed that, and I actually flipped the bar forward, which is the first time I've ever done that, and it wasn't like I was planning on doing that. It was just I was stuck, and I just went, and it just landed, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't die, because it's quite scary to do that. And while it was happening, it wasn't very scary because it was just so quick with it. But I guess that might be how I have to fail weights sometimes, but ideally I'd flip it behind me because there's a lot more margin of error than if you're flipping in front, since you have those important things like your neck and your head that a bunch of hundreds of pounds are flying by with that. But didn't get hurt in any of that. Did some rows and also a little bit of Olympic lifting with that. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about in this video. So I recently watched a Juggernaut Training Systems video where they talked about the beginner stages of someone learning the snatch and some drills to work with that. And that was something I actually went and tried, and I was like, oh, these are perfect for me because all the flaws that I've been working on are addressed with that, because you're working on your position from the ground to the knee, from the ground to your hip, and then from the hip, which are the 3 main components, obviously, because you go from the ground past your knees to your hip, and you jump it up, and you land in that bottom position. But basically working on those positions, and then getting it to be all together with it. And sorry, I burped a little bit, but I was playing around with that, and I was like, oh, this is perfect because I have the issue of hipping it or just throwing my back into it, doing all these variety of things, and kind of having those 3 drills that I can just do over and over and over and over are going to be perfect for me, because then I can get the practice of the mechanics and really focus on each individual part, and not trying to do other drills that aren't as specific as just really those 3, if you consider them 3 different things with it, but really just breaking down the movement into those 3 parts and just drilling that over and over and over again. Another thing with those, with the weightlifting stuff, I may try to do more power squat jerks or power jerks. I forget exactly what they're called. Essentially, like you see a lot of the Chinese weightlifters doing, where they'll instead of doing a split, they'll just drop under it and squat. But I'll see how well that goes, because I just did a power jerk, which is a lot easier than if I would to drop all the way down with that. So I don't know. I've seen it was like Oleski, I forget how to say his name, like Trokoski or something, where he did some world where he won a gold medal doing that. So it might be something that I could be decent at, something I'm gonna play around with a little bit. I'm not worried about if I'm better. I'm not worried about Olympic lifting in general. I'm just worried about just progressing and figuring out what's good for me, and what's going to be the most optimal way for me to do those lifts. I will say I only did a couple of the reps, so it's hard to say for sure, but the couple that I did, I definitely felt like the cues made a lot more sense kinesthetically when I was doing that movement than when I'm doing the split jerk. There's a lot less to think about, because essentially it's just like doing a push press that you just have to push yourself under, which for me was a lot easier than trying to think about the split, because there's a lot more that goes into that, and I'm not very good at that right now. It's like I'm not really good at much of a weightlifting, so I can do pretty much anything right now and not have to worry about limiting myself, since I'm limited by just my general mechanics and strength as I stand right now with that. But on to the next week, which will be a deload week of, I was about to say epic proportions, but just a deload week where I'll just go really easy on everything. I will still go to the gym several times, or probably a bunch of times, because I enjoy being there. But I won't be doing anything heavy, and I'm going to be very cautious with squats, and basically not going to be squatting until my hip is pain-free, or at least pretty much pain-free with that. So I'm going to be very cautious with all that, which will be very difficult because I like doing weightlifting, which is squatting stuff, and I like squatting, which is obviously strain on that motion, and even deadlifts can put a little bit of strain on that. So I'm going to be very cautious with that. I'll probably be more aggressive with the upper body stuff, since I'm not really limited with anything as far as that goes with it, and obviously my hip doesn't get bothered if I bench or something with that, or if I do rows or something. So it'll be a lot of that. And the deload will be next week for sure, and if my hip or whatever doesn't recover as well as I would like it to, it may extend to 2 weeks, because I really just want to get this addressed while I'm still far out from the meet with that. But like, if it takes 2 weeks, I'd obviously be a little bit more aggressive in the second week probably, but I really just want to just give myself a little bit of time to rest with that, and make sure all the little nagging things kind of can go away as much as they're ever going to go with that, since I've been pushing myself quite hard as of late, and probably not doing the best of recovering as far as when I do deloads and stuff, since I like lifting the weights, so I do that quite a bit more than I should. And thankfully I'm at the point now, as far as my mental maturity, where I kind of realize that more than when I first started out, since I would just go hard all the time and just ignore pain and logic and all that stuff, and just try to lift heavy and high reps, or I've tried to do everything all the time with it. And now I'm trying to be a little bit more strategic, so I'm not getting to the point where everything hurts and I can't do anything, and being able to train more continuously and avoiding any sort of big injury, which thankfully, even when I was lifting like an idiot, like I still was able to avoid to a very large extent, really at all. I never really had a big injury as far as lifting, just overuse stuff and like a back strain, just like I recently had, and I had one a while ago with that. But that's really about it. So I guess I have lucky genetics as far as that shenanigans goes. But that's really about it that I have for this video. I do want to mention a video idea that I have. This video is going to be quite long, so I don't know how, if it would apply for this week, but I think something that I want to try to do, since I record so many clips, I basically only use like the main clips for a weekly update video like this, and obviously if I put stuff on Instagram and stuff like that, but I'll throw up this video, I'll have all my weightlifting clips, but there's also some, because usually there's a lot of footage that I'll cut down, usually like the warm-up sets, or if I'm doing 3 sets of a certain weight, I'll cut down the first 2 sets and just show the last set, or whatever as far as that goes. Like my weightlifting stuff, I don't show everything that I do with that, since I do quite a bit of reps with since I'm doing very lightweight. But what I was thinking of doing is using those extra clips. So I would edit this video normally and have all my main clips in there, so you'd be getting the meat and potatoes of my workout week in the weekly update. And that's kind of what I want these videos to be like, is just a general overview of what I've been doing each week, and what's going well and what's a struggle, or whatever as far as that goes. But I want to use, I guess it'd be kind of B-roll footage. I don't know if that would be the technical name for it, but the footage I don't use in these videos, to make a separate video where I use that footage and just talk about really anything. It could be more of a philosophical video, and maybe something I'll use on my other channel, but I hate recording all this stuff and then not using it, even if it's just, random sets of different things with it. So if you have any ideas of what I could do with that footage, or if you'd be interested in just a generic video of all the weightlifting, or all my lifting stuff just together, without any commentary, that's something that I could put together relatively easily. It would just be kind of a long video with that. But if that's something you're interested in, or if I could do a video like that with the B-roll footage, and then just talk about philosophy, I don't know, talk about something with it, because I can always think of something to talk about. That isn't the hard thing. It's thinking of what to do with all that extra lifting footage, and not just deleting it every week, because I rather use it, because I take so much darn time recording all these dang clips. I'd like to use a lot more of them with it. But anywho, so if you have any thoughts regarding that, or anything else that I talked about in this video, please leave all that kind of stuff down below with it, and any other thoughts you may have. And yeah, that's really about it that I have for this video. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it, and if you made it to any part of the video, I appreciate it as well. But I forgot how to end this video, but I get to the end and panic and not know how to end the video. But anywho, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope your training weeks went well. Peace.
Yeah, woke up.